AI Podcast.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place that cuts through the noise, trying to give you the clearest, most actionable insights.
That's the goal.
And today, well, we're diving into something I think a lot of us dream about.
Oh, yeah.
A life where your time is actually your own. Not tied to the 9 to 5, where you have limitless experiences. It's a really compelling picture.
It really is.
But is that idea, the whole 4-hour work week thing, is it just a nice fantasy? Or is there a real blueprint there, a path to that kind of freedom?
Well, that's exactly the question our source material tackles head on today. We've been digging deep into an audiobook transcript that basically challenges everything we're taught about success.
Okay.
It's not promising magic, but it does offer a really strategic shift.
Yeah.
A different way to think about work and life.
Right. And our mission today is to unpack that strategy for you, our listener. We want to, peel back the layers a bit.
Let past the hype.
Exactly. Understand the misconceptions, but also find the practical steps. How can you actually design a life with genuine freedom? So let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
So most of us, we grew up with this specific story about success, right?
Mm-hmm. It was a standard path.
Yeah. Go to school, get a secure job, grind out 40-plus hours a week for 40 years.
Yeah.
And then maybe you get to retire comfortably. It's just so baked into our culture, isn't it? Feels like the only way.
It really does. But the source we're looking at, it calls that out directly. It actually says, pretty bluntly, that is not success, that is survival.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it pushes for actively designing your reality.
Yeah.
Working smarter, not just harder. And here's the bit that really flips the script.
Yeah.
You can't buy time, but you can buy freedom, and you deserve it.
Huh. Buying freedom, not time. That's different.
It completely reframes what you should be aiming for.
It really does. And the source is pretty clear about who this is for, right? It mentions the dreamers, the risk takers, the rebels who refuse to accept the status quo. It's aimed at those of you listening who feel done with trading your precious time for a paycheck you barely enjoy. But what about someone who wouldn't call themselves a rebel? Someone just tired?
Oh, absolutely. I think rebel here is less about being disruptive and more about quietly refusing the default setting.
Okay.
The deep dive really emphasizes that if you feel that pressure, that sense of time just slipping away doing stuff you don't love, then these ideas apply. It doesn't matter how much risk you think you can tolerate. It taps into something universal, wanting control, wanting agency.
Okay, that makes sense. So if that's the big picture, how do we start chipping away at that old story? Our source material kicks things off by tackling the biggest belief. Working harder is the path. It calls this the time trap.
Yeah, and argues it actually keeps you poorer in terms of freedom.
Right.
It's pretty direct on this. It says the system is broken and flat out working harder isn't the answer. It makes a really crucial point many of us miss. Being busy isn't the same as being productive.
Oh, that's a big one. We definitely mix those up. A packed calendar feels like progress.
Right, but it often isn't.
And what's the cost of all that busyness? The source really hammers home that time isn't just, money. It's our most valuable asset. You can't get it back.
No, you can't.
Think about those soul-crushing meetings.
We've all been there.
Or the weekends you missed, stuck working, the years you've spent doing work that doesn't excite you. That time, it's just gone.
It's a really sobering thought when you frame it like that. The source labels this the time trap. The more time you trade for money, the less freedom you have.
Simple but powerful.
And it stresses you can't get more time. You can only get more leverage. If you look at successful entrepreneurs, this is a core difference. They get that time is the one thing you can't renew.
So, okay, if time is fixed and leverage is the key,
Yeah.
then the big insight is that leverage doesn't come from putting in more hours. It comes from, working smarter.
Precisely. That's the core shift. And the path to breaking free, as the source lays it out, involves three things working together: leverage, automation, and outsourcing.
The trifecta.
Yeah. It highlights how successful people consciously build income streams that work for them even while they sleep. It's about creating systems that run without you, not just relying on your own direct effort hour after hour.
Okay, so for someone listening right now, maybe feeling overwhelmed by their daily grind, what's a tangible first step? How do you start applying this leverage idea?
The source suggests something simple, but pretty profound, actually. Stop measuring your success by the hours you clock in.
Okay.
Instead, try to identify just one repetitive task you do every single day. Something that could potentially be automated or outsourced.
Like what?
Could be anything, really. Scheduling meetings, maybe. responding to those standard emails, even basic social media updates. The goal is just to claw back even a tiny bit of that irreplaceable time. Start small.
Start small, build momentum. Okay. Now I want you, listening, to just stop for a second. Really think about your life. Do you actually have the freedom to do what you love whenever you want? Is your time really yours?
Or are you always reacting to emails, to your boss's schedule, to someone else's agenda?
Exactly.
See, the deep dive we explored suggests a fundamental shift in the question you ask yourself, instead of what job do I want?
Which is what we usually ask.
Right. It urges you to ask, what life do I want to live?
Mm.
The whole idea is if you get crystal clear on the life you want first, then your job, income, and time will all fall into place. You design backward from the life you want.
Designing backward, I like that. And this leads to what the source calls the formula for freedom. Can you break that down?
Sure. 3 key parts. First, design your ideal life. And this isn't just about the job title or the salary. It's about truly imagining freedom. Maybe it is working remotely from a beach in Bali. Or maybe it's traveling the world experiencing new cultures without begging for vacation time. Get specific. Second, deconstruct your job to build a business. Think like an entrepreneur, even if you're employed. Look at your current work through the lens of systems. What parts could be automated, delegated?
Okay. And the third part.
Third, create passive income streams. The source calls this the ultimate hack to freedom. Finding ways to make money that aren't directly tied to your hours worked. Making money while you sleep.
That phrase, money while you sleep, always sounds a bit too good to be true, doesn't it?
It does, and the source clarifies it's not zero effort. It's about focused, upfront effort, building the system, creating the digital product so the ongoing effort is minimal. That's how you buy back your time.
Right. The upfront investment pays off later in time freedom.
Exactly. And what's also emphasized is the power of location independence, the ability to work from anywhere. And crucially, the source points out this isn't just for tech people anymore. It's about designing a business, any kind of business. It doesn't chain you to one specific place.
That idea really opens things up, and it ties into how the source challenges the whole concept of job security, doesn't it? It calls it an illusion.
Yeah, it argues that real security comes from diversifying your income streams and gaining control over your own time. Basically, if you can generate your own income independently, you can't really be fired in the traditional sense. Your security is internal, not external.
That's a powerful reframe. Moving from relying on a company to relying on yourself.
And that naturally leads to the need to break free from the 9-to-5 mentality. Because, let's face it, the source is right. The world has changed. The old rules, the old structures, they just don't fit the opportunities available now.
So, thinking about the listener again, what's a concrete action step here?
Well, first, actually take the time to design that dream life. Don't just vaguely wish for it. Map it out. What does fulfillment look like beyond the job? And if you are in a traditional job right now, start actively looking for ways to get more flexibility. Can you negotiate some remote work? Can you reduce hours? Or can you start that side hustle? Something small that could eventually replace your main income. The key is consciously choosing time over just chasing more money.
Prioritizing time. Okay. Now, let's tackle something the source calls a dangerous lie.
Ooh, sounds serious.
It is. The idea that you need more money to live a better life. Think about it. How often do we hear people say, if I just had a little more money, then I could finally, whatever it is they want to do?
All the time. It's the default assumption.
But our deep dive source offers what it calls the inconvenient truth.
Oh, yes.
The pursuit of more money won't set you free. It argues that real freedom comes from the ability to control your time, not your income. People chase higher salaries but end up sacrificing more and more of their time, their actual life, to get it.
Yeah, you trade time for money and often end up with less freedom. The source puts it well. Financial freedom isn't about a number in your bank account. It's about how much you control your time and how efficiently you're using what you already have.
That efficiency part is key too. So it's critical distinction, income versus wealth. Income is just earning. Wealth, according to the source, is the ability to live on your own terms with as little work as possible.
Right. And that hinges on building systems that produce passive income, not just constantly trading hours for dollars.
So connecting the dots here, you don't actually need to be a millionaire to be free.
Not at all. You need to fundamentally change your relationship with money. Make it work for you, instead of you always working for it. It's less about consuming more and more about creating systems and making strategic choices.
Which brings us to what the source calls The real path to freedom. What is it?
It boils down to two interconnected things: mastering your spending and building passive income.
Okay, let's break those down. Mastering spending.
This means getting really intentional about where your money goes, actively cutting out the unnecessary stuff, maybe embracing a bit more minimalism, focusing spending on things that actually add value or create experiences, not just stuff.
And the second part, building passive income.
Right. This is about creating ways to earn money that aren't directly tied to your active working hours. The source gives examples like digital assets, an ebook you write once, an online course you create, or business systems that run mostly on their own, things that generate revenue without needing your constant attention.
Okay, so for you listening, some takeaways here. First, really shift how you think about money. See it as a tool for freedom, for leverage, not just the end goal.
Second, take a hard look at your expenses. Audit them. Where can you cut back without sacrificing real quality of life? Reallocate that money.
And third,
Start small, but start building. Experiment with creating manageable income streams designed to be passive. Even if it's just a tiny amount at first, the process is what matters.
all right, let's talk about the big leap. Quitting the job, it's scary, right?
Terrifying for most people.
We're conditioned to think we need this huge safety net, maybe $1 million, before we can even consider leaving that steady paycheck. But the source just tackles that myth head on. It says, you don't need $1 million in the bank to escape the 9-to-5 grind.
Which is music to many ears, I bet. But it also digs into why it's so scary. It names the main fears holding people back.
Like what?
Fear of uncertainty, naturally.
Yeah.
Fear of failure, a big one. And often just a lack of a plan. But it circles back to that idea that job security is an illusion. True security, it argues, is self-sufficiency. Knowing you can create value and income on your own, that's real security.
Okay, and this leads to a really cool concept the source calls escape velocity. What's that?
It's basically the point of no return. That moment when your income from your side projects, your automated systems, whatever, reliably surpasses your essential monthly expenses.
Ah, okay. When your side gig covers the bills.
Exactly. Once you hit that point, you have escape velocity. You can make the leap with much less risk.
So how do you actually get to escape velocity? Is there a formula?
The source lays out a pretty clear one. First, minimize your monthly expenses. Be ruthless. Cut the fat. Focus on needs over wants. Lowering your baseline makes escape velocity easier to reach.
Makes sense. Lower target.
Second, build your financial cushion. The classic advice is 3 to 6 months of living expenses. But the source adds a crucial warning. Don't let this be an excuse to keep postponing your escape. Don't get stuck saving forever out of fear.
Good point. Analysis paralysis. And the third part?
Maybe the most important, test the waters.
Mm-hmm.
Build your side hustle before you quit the main job. Validate the idea, get it making money, work out the kinks while you still have that safety net.
Okay, so practical advice for someone wanting to make this transition.
Yep. Number 1, start that side hustle now while you're still employed. Safest way.
2, focus hard on minimizing your monthly expenses. Lower that financial bar.
3, save a reasonable cushion, but don't let perfectionism or fear keep you stuck in saving mode forever.
And finally,
Aim for escape velocity. Get that side income to the point where it reliably covers your essential living costs. That's your trigger point.
all right, now let's paint that picture again. Imagine waking up, maybe you check your phone, and bam, you've made money overnight while sleeping without doing anything in that moment.
It's the dream scenario. Right?
Definitely appealing.
And the source material really hammers this home. The real goal isn't just to escape your boss. It's to escape the grind of constant work altogether.
Ah, escaping the grind, not just the job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the key insight here is that systems, not your hours, are the key to wealth and freedom. It's all about intentionally designing a business that works for you, not because of you being constantly present.
And a huge part of building those systems, the source explains, is delegation and outsourcing. It calls it the art of working less. And thankfully, it says you don't need a huge team to do this.
No, you don't.
Well,
The practical advice is, first, identify repetitive tasks, anything you do over and over that feels like a chore. Emails, customer service, basic social media stuff. Second, find the right outsourcing platforms. Places like Upwork or Fiverr make it easy to find help. And third, crucially, create clear instructions. Document your processes. Maybe use screen recording tools like Loom. Make it super clear what needs to be done so you get the results you want.
right. Clear instructions are key for delegation. Now, besides other people, technology is another lever, right? Automate repetitive tasks.
Absolutely. Technology is your friend here. The source gives specific examples. For email marketing, think MailChimp or ConvertKit to nurture leads automatically.
Okay.
For building sales pages and funnels that convert visitors, tools like ClickFunnels or Lead Pages are powerful. For customer service, chatbots or platforms like Intercom can handle a lot of routine queries.
And back-end stuff.
Yeah, accounting and invoicing.
Yeah.
Tools like QuickBooks or FreshBooks can save you tons of manual effort. The point isn't just knowing the tools exist, but integrating them smartly to free up your time.
Which loops back to something we keep mentioning because it's so central. Create passive income streams.
This is really where the leverage multiplies. The source lists several ways. Affiliate marketing, earning commissions, promoting others' products, digital products, things you create once, like an ebook or an online course, and sell over and over.
The create once, sell often model.
Exactly. Also software or SaaS if you have the skills, or even just traditional investing in assets that generate income, like stocks or real estate.
And all of this serves the bigger goal of focus on scalability, right?
Yeah.
Designing things so they can grow without demanding proportionally more of your personal time.
Precisely. And the source gives a great real-life example to make this concrete. It talks about Sarah, a 32-year-old entrepreneur.
How much you do?
Started with a lifestyle blog and an online store selling digital planners as a side hustle. But she strategically automated her email marketing, outsourced her customer service and social media, and really focused on those digital products.
So the upfront work, then automation and delegation.
Yep. Now her business basically runs itself with minimal daily input from her. She achieved that freedom. It shows these principles actually work in the real world.
That's inspiring. Okay, so summarizing the action steps from this section for you listening. First, be ruthless about delegating or outsourcing repetitive tasks that don't need your unique touch.
Second, identify and automate key business processes, especially things like marketing and sales, using the right tech tools.
And third,
Focus your creative energy on building digital products or other income streams that, once set up, require minimal ongoing effort. That's how you scale your freedom.
okay, most people think to get more done, I need to work harder, longer hours. It's almost instinctual.
The default mode.
But our source introduces this game-changing principle that flips this thinking on its head. It's the 80-20 rule, sometimes called the Pareto principle.
Yes, Pareto.
The core idea is surprisingly simple, yet profound. 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts.
And this points to a huge common mistake. Most people spend their days working on the 80% that doesn't matter. They're busy, sure, but they ignore the vital 20% that could make them rich, successful, and free.
So the challenge is finding that 20%.
Exactly. Identifying it and then focusing relentlessly on it.
So how do you do that? The source says, step 1, identify your 20%. What does that look like in practice?
It means asking some tough questions. Look at your business or even your job. Which specific customers actually generate 80% of your income or value?
Okay.
Which marketing channels are driving the vast majority of your good leads? Within your own tasks, which activities truly move the needle the most? It's about finding those high leverage points.
Got it. It requires some analysis.
Definitely. The source gives a clear example, the power of focus in business. Maybe you find that 20% of your products account for 80% of your sales.
Right.
Or maybe 20% of your clients provide 80% of your repeat business or referrals. Spotting these imbalances is critical.
Okay, so once you've identified that vital 20%, what's next? The source says, step 2, eliminate the 80%, cut the dead weight.
Sounds ruthless.
It advises being pretty ruthless, yeah. Getting rid of the stuff that consumes time but doesn't deliver significant results.
How do you eliminate it?
3 main ways, according to the source. 1, delegate tasks that don't require your unique genius. 2, automate processes wherever you can with tech. 3, just stop doing low-impact work. Just stop. Yep, this requires embracing the power of saying no. Saying no to meetings, projects, requests that don't align with your critical 20%.
That's hard for a lot of people. Okay, so identify the 20%, eliminate the 80% with step 3.
Step 3, leverage your 20%. Multiply what works.
Double down on the good stuff.
Exactly. You replicate what works. If a product line is killing it, expand it. If a marketing channel is effective, invest more there.
Makes sense. You also focus on your top-performing clients, give them more attention, and consciously work on increasing your personal productivity, specifically on those high-impact 20% tasks. The source even gives an example, scaling your time.
Yeah.
Something like coaching, maybe increasing prices for one-on-one, or moving to group programs to leverage your core insights with less direct time per person.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So takeaways for the 80-20 rule for you. First, Really analyze your work and life to pinpoint that critical 20% of activities driving the most results.
Second, be brave enough to cut out the 80% that drains your time for little return. Delegate it, automate it, or just stop doing it.
And third,
Double down on what works. Leverage that 20% to multiply your impact and ultimately your freedom.
all right, let's paint that picture again. The dream. Waking up somewhere beautiful. Could be a villa by the sea, maybe a cool cafe in a city you love.
Mhm.
No boss breathing down your neck. No horrible commute. No rigid schedule dictating your day. And crucially, your business is humming along, mostly on autopilot. That's the ultimate freedom vision, isn't it?
It really is. And the source is emphatic. This isn't a fantasy. It's achievable. Thanks to the remote revolution, the technology is there. It's accessible. You don't need to be a tech genius. You need the right mindset and systems.
So how do you get there? Step one, the source says, is build a business that runs on autopilot. We've touched on this, but it involves automating income streams, outsourcing, delegating, creating scalable offers like courses or digital products, making the business independent of your constant presence.
Right. Then, step two, master the tools of remote work. You need to get comfortable with the tech that enables this lifestyle. Communication tools like Slack or Zoom are essential.
Okay.
Project management software Trello, Asana keeps things organized when you're not physically together.
Right.
Cloud storage like Google Drive means your files are always accessible. Even time tracking tools like Toggle can help maintain focus when working remotely. These tools form the digital infrastructure.
Got it. Then there's step three, master the art of remote living. This goes beyond just the work, right? It's about the lifestyle itself.
Exactly. It means choosing locations strategically, maybe based on cost of living, internet reliability, or finding communities of other digital nomads. It means getting good at managing time zones if you have a team or clients elsewhere. Setting clear boundaries between work and leisure is huge, and actively networking so you don't feel isolated.
And finally, step four, live like a king. What does that mean exactly? It's not just about money, is it?
No, not necessarily lavish spending. It's more about living intentionally, designing your days around what actually matters to you. It's about achieving that financial independence through your system, sure, but then using the resulting more time for leisure to pursue passions, travel, connect with people, have experiences, not just hoarding wealth for some far-off retirement.
Living richly now, not just saving to maybe live richly later.
Precisely.
Okay, so action steps from this section for you. First, really focus on building those systems so your business can run without you needing to be there constantly.
Second, get comfortable with the core communication and project management tools for remote work. They're essential.
And
Use the freedom you create. Don't just replicate the office grind in a nicer location. Actively use your flexibility to travel, explore, learn, connect, and pursue those meaningful experiences that make life rich. Don't wait for someday.
now, we've all absorbed this idea, this myth of the traditional retirement, haven't we?
Oh yeah, baked in from day one.
Work hard your entire life, slave away for decades. Then when you're 65, retire and live your golden years in peace. But what if that whole model is just wrong? What if you don't have to wait until you're old to really live?
This is where the source introduces a really fascinating concept, the secret of mini retirements.
Mini retirements. Tell me more.
It's about taking extended breaks from work at various points in your life to live fully. And the source is clear. These are not vacations. A vacation is maybe a week or two. These are longer intentional breaks, maybe a few months, maybe a year, designed for deep enrichment, gaining perspective, pursuing big projects, or travel.
So like punctuating your career with significant life experiences instead of saving it all for the end.
Exactly. And the source highlights the power of time off, taken this way. It's not just about avoiding burnout, though that's part of it. It's about having dedicated time for family, for deep travel, for learning, for just enjoying the present without the pressure of the daily grind. It integrates life into your working years.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How do you actually pull off a mini retirement?
The source lays out clear steps. Step one, design your ideal mini retirement. What would truly recharge and enrich you? Backpacking, volunteering, learning to surf, writing that novel.
Yep.
Get specific about the goal.
Right, it needs a purpose.
Step two, plan your time off and make it work financially. This is key. Calculate the costs, save up, cut back on expenses beforehand. And importantly, figure out if you can generate some income while you're away, maybe through those passive streams we talked about or some light remote work.
Okay, planning is crucial. What's next?
Step three, embrace a new perspective on life. Taking that step back from the day-to-day hustle gives you incredible clarity. You start questioning what really matters. That career ladder might seem less important when you're, hiking in Patagonia.
I can imagine. Perspective shift.
And finally, step 4. Return refreshed and ready to grow. You don't just come back tired like from a short vacation. You come back with new energy, new ideas, maybe new skills, definitely new experiences, and often a much clearer sense of purpose and fulfillment. It can actually make you better at your work when you return.
Interesting. So the actionable takeaway for you listening, seriously consider this. What kind of mini retirement would genuinely rejuvenate you? Then start planning the finances, leverage passive income or remote options if you can, and use that break not just to relax, but to consciously evaluate your life and goals. Come back stronger, more focused. Don't just put life on hold.
Yeah, don't wait for 65.
Okay, let's talk about the big blocker, the thing that stops so many people, fear.
Ah, yes, the biggest one.
Our source material calls fear out as the single greatest barrier to freedom, and it offers a really powerful frame. Fear is a lie.
A lie.
Yeah, it doesn't exist in the world around you. It exists only in your mind. And it adds that comforting thought. Most of what we fear never comes to pass.
That's true, isn't it? We worry about so much that never happens.
So how do we fight this internal barrier? The source introduces something called the fear formula, a system to break free.
Okay, a formula for fear. What is it?
3 simple steps. Define the fear, determine the worst case, find the solution. It's a very rational way to tackle something emotional. Okay, step 1, define the fear. The source says you have to be super specific, not just, I'm scared to quit, but drill down. I'm afraid I won't be able to make enough money to cover my bills if I quit my job.
Or maybe I'm afraid I'll get lost or feel lonely traveling alone. Getting specific makes it tangible, something you can actually address.
Right. Then, step 2, determine the worst case. Really play it out. What's the absolute worst realistic outcome? The source points out it's often not as catastrophic as your mind has made it out to be.
So maybe the worst case is you burn through some savings, or you have to go back and get another job,
Yeah.
maybe one you like less for a while. Uncomfortable.
Yes,
End of the world? Usually not.
exactly. Which leads to step 3, find the solution. The source is really reassuring here. It states you can always recover from failure. Think about backup plans. What would you do if the worst case happened? Maybe pick up freelance gigs, temporarily move back home. There's almost always a path back.
Having that recovery plan defangs the fear a bit, doesn't it?
It does. And the most critical point the source makes here, action is the antidote to fear.
Ah, yes. Don't wait to feel brave. Just act.
Precisely. It's not about being fearless overnight. The source says you don't have to conquer all of your fears, just take one step. Every small action you take reduces the fear's grip and builds your confidence.
Momentum beats fear.
Totally. So for you, a really powerful exercise here. Get out some paper. Write down your specific fears about making a change. Then, for each one, honestly assess the real worst-case scenario. Then, brainstorm concrete steps you could take to mitigate that risk or recover if it happened. And finally, and this is key, take one small concrete step today. Don't wait. Fear grows in inaction.
Great advice. Take that first step.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground. It all kind of funnels towards this ultimate goal. Designing a life where you control the rules, the hours, and the location.
The dream outcome.
But the source is clear. It won't happen by accident. You need to strategize and execute. This isn't about luck. It's about having a blueprint and following it.
Right. And the source lays out the 3 core steps of this 4-hour life blueprint, the pillars to build on.
What are they?
First, escape the traditional work model. This means setting firm boundaries, automating your income as much as possible, and cutting out obligations that drain your time and energy.
Okay, escape the old model. Second,
Design your automated business. This brings together everything we've talked about. Delegation, outsourcing, automating sales and marketing, creating those scalable products like courses or digital downloads that work without you.
got it. Automate the engine. And third,
Build your freedom strategy. This is about getting crystal clear on your ideal life beyond work, systematizing your routines to support that life, and intentionally weaving in things like those mini retirements so you're living fully now, not just someday.
escape, automate, strategize.
That's the blueprint.
Yeah.
And it's crucial to remember what the source says. This won't happen in a day or a week. It's a process, a journey. But, and this is important, something you can start today. Those small actions compound over time. They build momentum.
That compounding effect is powerful. So maybe the final, most powerful actionable for you listening is this. Create your own exit plan.
Make it real.
Yeah. Whether it's a detailed 6-month plan or a broader 5-year vision, write it down, make it concrete, and then start taking those small, consistent steps towards it. Start moving.
Don't just dream it, plan it.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's just bring it back to the core message from the source material. The whole 4-hour life idea, it's not really about slacking off or doing less work overall.
No, not at all.
It's about doing more of the things that genuinely matter to you, the high-impact stuff, and finding the focus and the courage to strategically let go of the rest. It's a fundamental shift in priorities.
It really is. And here's maybe a provocative thought to leave you with, drawn from the source's spirit. The world doesn't actually need more busy people, just reacting and running on hamster wheels.
What does it need?
The world needs more people who are genuinely free. People living life on their own terms, with the time and space to pursue big ideas, solve real problems, and make their unique contributions to make their dreams reality. It's bigger than just personal convenience.
That's a powerful way to frame it. We've laid out the tools, the strategies from our source today. From shifting your mindset about time and money, to building automated systems, to conquering fear.
The blueprint is there.
But as the author reminds us, knowing isn't enough. The real power comes from doing, from taking that first, often scary step.
Let this deep dive be that catalyst for you, that turning point. Take that first small step, whatever it is, and start building towards making your version of the 4-hour life a reality.